you've got to love this news. I just smiled as soon as I read this headline. Hyundai will pause production of one of its internal combustion engine factories in order to build a new electric car facility. Hyundai is saying, you know what? These American media are full of crap, which I'm sure you already knew this. They're saying they're making things up. EV demand actually is really strong worldwide, but even in America, they're saying you just have to have the right car. And they're right. I mean, remember BMW? They said no one wants EVs. We know this because we sell the i3. We sell it for, what was it, $70,000 US. It had about 100 miles of range. It was ridiculous. They said, we know no one wants EVs because no one's buying that, or not many people were buying them. Mazda have said the same thing. We know people don't want EVs except Teslas because they aren't buying the MX-30. It's an abysmal electric car from Mazda. Therefore, it proves people don't want EVs. Hyundai have a very good point. That's why they're actually going to lead this EV race in numerous countries next year. When I say lead, I don't mean they're going to sell the most cars. I mean, their growth is going to be very, very impressive. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Isn't this interesting? The juxtaposition between what Hyundai and Kia are doing, pausing production at internal combustion factories, just moving priority away from that and putting it onto a new EV factory, building that instead. General Motors and Ford, what have they done? They've paused their EV plans. Just let that sink in. I mean, this is like a BlackBerry moment right here. It's sad. It's really sad. Anyway, getting back to the very intelligent decision by Hyundai and Kia, they are halting one of their internal combustion engine facilities, vehicle factories, to build a very new, large kind of gigafactory EV plant. Now, this is happening in South Korea. So obviously Hyundai, they make more vehicles in South Korea than they do elsewhere. That's their epicenter of vehicle production. And according to a Reuters regulatory filing, the East Asian automaker will halt its factory in Asan between December 31, 2023 and February 13, 2024 in order to actually transform it into an EV factory. The facility is described on the company's website as being a state-of-the-art self-sufficient factory that manufactures passenger vehicles for export and operates an environment-friendly solar farm on its roof. It does have a lot of solar on its roof, which is kind of nice. Hyundai makes the Sonata and the Grandeur combustion models there, but also the Ioniq 5, which, by the way, I personally am a big fan of the Ioniq 5. I wish they'd use an LFP battery pack, but other than that, I really love it. The car group's efforts will be directed towards the construction of a new EV plant at its main manufacturing complex in Ulsan, which is on the other side of the Korean peninsula. Now, this facility is actually the world's largest single automobile plant. It is massive. It comprises of 5 independent plants, so it's not actually the largest factory, but if you add all the factories together in the one location, it's the biggest. And these make cars like the Hyundai Kona, the Santa Fe, and the Tucson, plus the Genesis GV80 and the G90. But this new factory is EV only. And the facility will become the 6th plant at the Ulsan complex. Once it goes online in 2026, it will be responsible for assembling the all-new Genesis GV90 electric SUV. Kind of like a luxury version of the Kia EV9. The Korean car blog said that the GV90 will be the group's first model based on the Integrated Modular Architecture, or IMA, which apparently will simplify EV production, reduce cost of manufacturing, and also make them lighter. You might find that Hyundai and Kia's EVs from about 2025 onwards will be probably around 10% lighter and potentially 10 to 20% more efficient as a result of not just that technology, but various technologies they are using in their new electric cars. So we've got companies, Volkswagen, Ford, and General Motors saying they're pausing EV production, but Hyundai is saying the opposite. BYD is saying the opposite. Tesla obviously is building a new factory in Mexico. You've got 3 big companies. Toyota is obviously, I don't know what they're doing. No one knows. They say stuff and who knows what they actually really do. But anyway, we know what those companies are doing. We know what these other companies are doing. Why are one group saying we're slowing EV production, there's not enough demand? The other group is saying, hey, demand's amazing. We've hit record sales this month, this year, etc. Well, it's about the product, the price, and the product. Well, that's what I think anyway. What are your thoughts? The sales numbers in the US speak for themselves. Hyundai has actually beaten all of its competitors in America over the last quarter. In the third quarter of the year, it sold 28,000 EVs, meaning it was in first place, behind Tesla, of course, in EV deliveries in the third quarter this year. Ford sold under 21,000. General Motors and Volkswagen were at around 20,000 each. But those companies I just mentioned, they're all slowing production. Hyundai and Kia, they're speeding up. Now, one thing that Hyundai said is this recently: we'll always make more premium vehicles than our Chinese competition. I'm not sure if that's 100% true. They do have NIO, they do have some pretty nice electric cars, BYD's premium brands, Yang Wang, etc. But it is true Hyundai does make some very nice, and so does Kia, some very nice electric cars. And you can really see why the demand is there for them, even though they don't even qualify for EV incentives in the United States. Hyundai was ahead of other legacy automakers in the first three quarters of the year, with around 62,000 EVs sold in the US, ahead of GM with 56,000 and Volkswagen with 50,000. Like I said, GM, Ford, and Volkswagen, their EVs qualify for EV incentives. Hyundai and Kia's, theirs don't. So, really, it's not that much of a surprise, in my opinion, that Hyundai are forging ahead towards what I believe is almost certain success, whereas their rivals are kind of getting stuck in the moment. That's what happens when you can't see the future. We don't have a defined plan for the future that you follow regardless of the bumps in the road. I think you just get lost. I feel like right now, GM, Ford, and Volkswagen, they're kind of like ships without captains that are just sailing in the harbour. There's no captain. They're just sailing around in circles. They were meant to head somewhere, but they've forgotten where that destination actually was. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.